Hello Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Valheim update. Finally, it's here. This update was meant to have gone live last week, but there were some issues waiting for Steam to update. So it's here now. It's quite meaty. There are some nerfs for certain things you're going to need to know about. Also, huge changes to the way that you use commands. If you've been doing a cheaty like me a lot, doing some building or spawning some stuff in to test it out, you're going to have to do a lot more now to get that activated. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to show you how to do that. So go and check out that. It will be a timestamp. You can skip all the update stuff if you really want to. But let's go through the update and talk about changes. Don't forget to like, make sure to subscribe for the best in survival games news. It really does help out. The videos have been smashing it lately. We had 105,000 views on the update video before last and 25k on the last one, so really appreciate it. But yeah, quick updates today and showing you how to use them commands. We're not going to go through any community stuff. Let's go. As always, these updates are tiny. It was only like 2 MB, but there's a lot to digest. Campfire, Bonfire and Hearth will now take damage when you deal damage. I think previously you could get away with not destroying them as much. Reinforced chest inventory space increased to 6 times 4, so that's great stuff. Going to have more space. Wish it was on the character, but at least we are going to have a lot more storage without having to clutter up everything with more chests. All boss drops can now float on water. The sunken crypt entrance has been tweaked to stop tombstones from getting stuck. The fixed rotation of wood, tower shield and item stands. Death Squito and Drake trophy drop rate increased. Now I said this weeks and weeks ago that Drake trophies were bugged. Some people reported not getting them even though they killed over 100. I killed about 80 and I didn't get one single drop. Some of you guys said you get them after only maybe 20 kills. Either way, it's been increased. So if you're looking for the final trophies, then hopefully you'll be able to get them a bit easier for the Drake. And I didn't even realise that Death Squito was quite hard to get, other than being a little bit of a bugger to get anyway because it's so annoying. 1 and 2 star creature HP fix. I think the bars will go in black or dark. You couldn't actually see the health and it wasn't going down properly. It was going down, but you just couldn't see it when you was facing against certain creatures. And I found it with bosses as well sometimes. Hopefully that's been fixed now. Night spawning walls should be easier to tame now. Should stop trying to run away and despawn after starting to tame. Harpoon does not work on bosses anymore. Now this is the nerf I think a lot of you guys are going to be unhappy with. The bosses in Valheim, at the moment, we're all finding ways to defeat them. There's the big method for Bomas, getting up high, raining arrows down on him, etc. Other methods, I know some of you guys have been cheesing and doing certain things. I don't really mind cheesing that much. I don't think it necessarily has to be nerfed completely all the time, especially in a game where the bosses are kind of a big focus. You think about Terraria. In that game, you have to build these huge, massive arenas, kind of, where you can put stands and platforms to take on some of these bosses. Otherwise, you'll never be able to defeat them. It seems like that would be the case with Valheim, but some of you guys have obviously been using the harpoon to drag the bosses maybe into different areas or into the water and then take them on using your raft. Only certain bosses that are near the water are that close. So I guess it is a cheesy method. Maybe others were doing it even worse. Maybe there was super cheesy and people were just spamming it with a harpoon. But I kind of like the idea that players come up with these ways. If we can only defeat the bosses in one certain way that the developers want, I find that kind of boring too. It's a balance for sure, making sure your game is enjoyable, it's challenging, and people aren't going to just do the same cheesy method. But also, I do think we need a little bit of choice in how we can defeat some of these bosses. So let me know what you think about that nerf. Go and try it out and see if it's good, bad, etc. The in-game console disabled by default. So this was the big change that I'm going to talk about and show you guys. But you've got to add the launch argument console to enable. I will show you guys exactly how to do that. The console command for enabling developer debug commands has been changed to dev commands from I'm a cheater, and a warning message has been added. This feels like overkill. Again, I'll say it again. I don't want to be critical, but I like discussing this stuff. Games like Ark, Conan Exiles, even Minecraft and certain other games allow you to change loot, allow you to change what type of enemies spawn, how difficult things are, how much gather rate you get. Valheim doesn't do any of that just yet. I know sandbox mode is on their roadmap. So until that happens, being able to use commands nice and easy, I think is important for players. If they want to test stuff out, if they do want to cheat, it's your game, you play it how you want. Now I know some people really hate people that use commands. Play the game its way it's meant to be played. Shut up. Like, it's your game. You do you. Yeah? If the console command's been put in, the developer has obviously been happy for you to use them. So walking it back now, 6 weeks later, I just don't see the point. I don't mind them changing the I'm a cheater business, but having to put a launch argument into the Steam and then just go through it so it's not the default, it's just a pain in the butt. It'll only take 2 seconds, which I'm going to show you guys. But yeah, I just felt like that was a bit extra. I know some people are annoyed that players are spawning stuff in and bringing it over to different servers and stuff. We're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, I still think this was probably a bit overkill. Improved enemy projectile reaction system. So, no bow nerf. They spoke in a few interviews last week. I showed you guys. They were talking about nerfing arrows or bows. So it looks like they've maybe not done that thus far, but they are making the AI a little bit harder. So that's good. That's great stuff. If the AI are going to move around a little bit, get out of the way of arrows, that's good stuff. That means the game is doing its job rather than necessarily just nerfing the player's tools. Battle Axe tweaks hits multiple enemies easier. Yes, now we're all going to be going for that big one. Black Forest Stone Tower tweaks, and player knockback force is affected by equipment speed modifiers, i.e. heavy gear will reduce the knockback from enemies. So this is good as well. Like, if you're a tank character, you've got the heaviest armor, yes, you should be moving around a bit slower, but also enemies shouldn't be able to knock you miles away. So I like that idea. I like that. That's a good positive change. Ward system fixes. You can no longer place a new ward where an enemy ward overlaps. I'm guessing that's to do with the Goblin Shaman. Comfort calculation fixed. Apparently there was some sort of issue with it. Failed to connect error message fixed. Serpent trophy stack fixed. Missing Moda spawn locations in some worlds fixed. So I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently a very small case of people couldn't find Moda. Imagine playing the game for 6 weeks and you couldn't get progressing because you just couldn't find it and you thought you was just unlucky. For existing worlds, you can use the genlock command. It needs to be run manually in a local game with dev commands enabled to generate new locations. This is only needed if your specific world has this issue. This is not very common. So there you go. I wonder if that would generate new dungeons. We'll have to test that out. Maybe someone can do that. If you've got a world, you've explored quite a lot of it, maybe do that command and see if it pops up with dungeons you visited being given new loot and stuff like that. That would be pretty interesting to see. I'm guessing it's probably only going to be the Fog of War stuff that you have visited, and anything in the Fog of War will be regenerated. Meginov item collider fix. I don't know what that was. They've added a slight delay use on hammer, hoe and cultivator. I hate this. It's already annoying having to wait for your stamina to refill just because you want to do a bit of building or you're doing a bit of farming. I quite like the mods that actually enable you to do this without any stamina loss. So making it a delay in between is just meh. No, why? Why do this? Why make it even harder for us? Hammer remove auto repeat added. They've added better network bandwidth handling, should work better on low bandwidth connections and also use high data rate if possible. This will hopefully fix the desync and the lag that a lot of you guys have been experiencing if you play a multiplayer. Now in the past the developers have said it's down to people's basically poor connections. Now I pushed back on this and said, well, at least if that's the case, you've got to show us that someone's got a bad connection. In the previous video I told you guys they should have something like Minecraft or Call of Duty where you've got 3 bars, green is great, amber not so great, red maybe don't consider playing with them players because their connection's so poor. At least until they can fix it. So I'm glad to see them making progress. I thought it would be a bit longer before they could do that since they said it was a long-term issue. So I'm guessing this won't be the end of it. It'll improve stuff, but I still think some of you guys may have issues with joining other players' worlds. But it's a good start. It's a good thing that they're focusing on this. Dolmen location fixes stop the top stone from falling for no reason. You've seen these little statues lying around that have got like 4 legs and a big piece as the body. Looks almost like a bear. I guess it was a dolmen. Well, yeah, the stones have been falling. That's fixed now. Fixed removing item from item stand, not always syncing from stats. Server list refresh button can be pressed before the entire list has been downloaded. And they've got better bad connection detection. Fixed issue causing server to send more data the longer a client was connected. So I hope that really will help on dedicated servers or server rentals where maybe it just gets worse and worse, the lag and stuff. Also localization updates too. So there we go, that is the update today. There is no home and half update yet. I don't think you should be expecting it for at least a good few weeks, not till maybe the end of April. That's what I imagine. They have teased us with a new building piece, the Raven here. I'm looking forward to it massively, but it's going to be some more bug fixes till then. So yeah, don't expect that update until at least the end of April. Okay, how to enable commands. So I'm in my game, I'm pressing F5, nothing is happening anymore. You will not be able to use commands unless you do the following steps. You need to go and right click on Valheim the game, and it should pop up with some more dialog boxes and options. Click on properties and then go down to the bottom here, you can see launch options. Windows mode exclusive, you don't need to have that on, you can enable that in game anyway to go full screen. I guess there might be a way to set this as a second parameter. I'm not that clued up, but basically all you need to do to get console commands to pop up is do a hyphen and then console, and that is it. Close the box, start up Valheim. Once you've done that and you've loaded the game back up, you should be able to input the console commands as normal, but obviously you've got to change the I'm a cheater part. So to activate console commands, do not type in I'm a cheater anymore. Instead put dev commands, and that is it. If it's worked, you'll get a little warning message now basically saying if you use cheats, it's at your own risk and these weren't meant to be used. You can then do the normal, which is the most popular, which is debug mode, and that will enable you to fly, to have unlimited building, crafting any item, etc. And just to show you guys, it does absolutely work. I'm going to use the Z key to fly, and there you go. Console commands are back on. Agree with me, disagree with me, let me know, just don't be a dick about it, and I'll be back for more Valheim news very soon. Let me know what you think about these changes, and obviously I will be hitting more mods, showcasing new stuff that's coming out and any future stuff. I've also got maybe a little interview with the art guy Robin, so expect that over the weekend at some point too. Until next time, Ratbags, laters.